Well, I'm still not at home, still not in New York. I'm here in Toronto staying with my friend Laura, and I have a very important meeting tomorrow, secret, which will be revealed in good time. But this meeting warrants a very special gift, and what I will be taking for 2 people are some flower pots that I've made. And in anticipation of this meeting, I stamped their names into the flower pot. This is a historically inspired flower pot that Guy Wolf has been making for many years, taken from a painting from 1801 by Rembrandt Peale, who painted his brother, commemorating the very first geranium cultivated in America. This is actually a cutting from that geranium. I am so honored that Guy taught me how to make this pot, and I think that this is an exceptional gift to be giving someone along with a cutting from the plant. So I wanted to pack this up, and my friend Laura, with whom I'm staying, is an expert at taking old boxes, like Amazon boxes, just boxes that would otherwise be discarded, and then repurposing them by custom fitting whatever it is that needs to be packed. There is a video on our channel, on my channel, with Laura. Check it out if you're interested in learning exactly how to do this. So Laura made 2 boxes. There's 2 sets of these flower pots, so they're the exact same size. I am just going to finish wrapping these up with some bubble wrap, recycled bubble wrap. I'm very lucky that Laura saves all of this stuff for repurposing. When something comes in the mail, she takes it all apart, folds it, puts it under her bed, and then when something needs to be packed, all of this stuff is there. None of this was purchased new. It's all recycled. So this is going to go here. Pack things up like this, and then wrap them up really beautifully. And what I want to show you today is how I improvise. How I improvise in any situation to make a package or a gift look really, really nice with what I have around or what I have available to me in a city where I don't live. So this is ready to be closed. So these boxes are custom made. They're a certain size. I went out and I got some Cavalini paper, which is really my favorite paper to use for gift wrapping. I went to the Paper Place store on Queen Street West here. It is a beautiful stationery store. I actually used to work there many, many moons ago, and they have an extensive selection of Cavalini papers. So I bought 2 papers for these 2 separate gifts, and wouldn't you know it, my flower pots are too big. They don't fit into this paper. So what do I do? What do I do in a situation like this where it isn't as I planned? Well, Laura had some newsprint lying around. Newsprint, craft paper. I actually love the simplicity of this kind of paper. It's so utilitarian, but I'm actually going to use the newsprint and the Cavalini paper, and that's what I'm going to show you how to do. So the newsprint, I've taken 2 sheets of this newsprint. I'm going to just stagger it like this, and I'm going to place the box over the newsprint, and I'm going to actually measure to make sure that I'm placing it directly in the center, because I want to be able to use all the paper I need. 4.5, 4.5, great. Like this. The way you wrap something without using tape is you rely on really folding and creasing the paper to make it stay in place. So you make a crease and it might fall away, but once the crease is made, it'll come back to that place. So that's what I'm going to do here. It is a bit of a circus act. So while I'm doing this, I'm not going to really talk through it. I'm just going to do it. You have to be comfortable with allowing that to happen. See how this just sort of flipped up? That makes a lot of people nervous. And when that happens, they get flustered and they try to catch it. But you have to trust that when you make the crease, it's there, and let it go, because now the crease is there and it's going to remember that. Something like this, where if it's uneven, it's sort of the paper is telling you something. It's telling you that it wasn't folded in the right place. So you can sort of go back and correct it. You can only correct it so many times before it looks messy. But there, okay? So that was kind of like it's kind of like an origami act in the air. But once the paper has been folded around the box, it's going to stay like this. If you want, at this point, just to help you, you can take little bits of tape and you can just attach the tape in a couple places, and I would remove that later. To save myself a lot of grief, is I would just take a little bit of tape, and again, I just put it there to hold it in place, and I can take that off later. And then very carefully, I'm going to flip the box and do the same on the other side. All this needs is 2 pieces of tape. There. Now, this is the top of the box. So that's kind of important because they're flower pots, and how this is going to be opened. I want to be conscious of remembering what the top is. And now I will do the other box. There. So both boxes have now been covered in newsprint because this was the paper we had around that would cover the whole box entirely. And now, what I'm going to do with the Cavalini paper is I'm going to cut 2 panels that will overlap and go around the box in a band. So I'm going to actually measure the top of the box. I want the band to cover this part, the folds. So I'm going to measure this width. It is 9 inches. I'm going to make the band 7.5 inches wide. That's what I'm going to cut. So I'm going to cut 2 strips from the paper that's 7.5 inches wide. And I'm going to actually look at the paper. I have 2 different Cavalini papers here. One's birds and one is Architettura di Roma, and I can pick where I'm going to cut those bands because this is wider than 15 inches. Okay, so I have cut 2 strips of bird paper. I have a bird paper, and I'm going to overlap them. So this is the reason I've cut 2 strips, just to show you, is because see, the paper isn't long enough to go over the whole box. So what I'm going to do is use 2 pieces like this, so that put it this way, and it'll go right around the box. Now, I am very conscious of how I'm positioning the paper because I want the top to have something special. So I'm not going to do this, like I'm not overlapping it this way. I'm going to overlap it this way so that the German word for bird, Vogel is at the top. And you can play around with it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about using this Cavallini paper is it's not a repeated pattern. It's a piece of art paper. So you can really create a picture on the gift by just how you place the paper on here. I think that looks great. Okay, so now I am going to use a tiny bit of tape to just tack this paper together just to help me while I'm wrapping so that it stays in place. Now I'm going to do the risky move of removing this tape because I want the recipient, when they open this, for the paper to just unfurl. Like, it's the act of opening the gift and having the paper just fall away without any tape that's really beautiful to me. The paper just makes this noise and falls away, and then inside is your nice gift. I'm gonna double check that the Vogel is in the right place, and it's not. So wait, I have to shift this over this way. That. Wo bist du, Vogel? Nein, falsche Richtung. Shh. Where's that laughing coming from? Noch nicht. Ein bisschen mehr. Noch ein bisschen mehr. This is really what I do. That's why I wanted you to join me for this. This is, like, I sit and I take the time to do this because when the package is done and it's just perfectly wrapped, it makes all the difference. Okay, there. That is a wonderful place for it to be. Okay. And now, while this is sitting on the table, you see I have a random flap here. I can't tape that, and I don't want to really tape that. So I'm gonna leave this placed here. And what do we use to hold it all together? Ribbon. The paper place had a beautiful selection of satin ribbon. So I'm going to cut the ribbon, cut the end on a diagonal. Make sure you cut enough ribbon. I have made this mistake many, many, many times. Just didn't cut enough, and it's just like 5 inches short. So it's better to have a much longer piece than a piece that's too short. Yes, and then I need double and enough for a bow. This is going to be a bit tricky because I need to actually start at the top. So I'm going to put my ribbon here. And I'm using the ribbon to hold everything in place while I flip it over. There. This is when it starts coming together. The ribbon is holding that paper in place now. Okay? See that? This flap that was just flapping around aimlessly before is now being held in place. I'm going to look at it before I secure it. It's a little, there's bunching here, so I'm going to adjust the paper while I still can so that it's sitting smoothly. And then, like, this is why I didn't crease it. Like before, I could have creased it, but I didn't crease it until the ribbon went on because I need to figure out how taut it needs to be when the ribbon is on. So now that the ribbon is on, I'm going to pull the paper so it's really nice and taut, and now I'm going to crease it. And this Cavallini paper is pretty stiff, so creasing it is going to really help with just finalizing where all the paper's sitting. Okay. this over here, like this. And the way I do the top is I take my one end, I slip it under here, and then I tie a bow now. There. Now, the box is wrapped. I can fiddle around a little bit with the paper just to clean up the edges a little bit. I think that looks great. We're not done yet. I saw these beautiful tags at the paper place, and I love these tags. They're just shipping tags. They're inexpensive. This pack of like 25 was $3.50. It's the cream is the same cream that's in the Cavalini paper. So this gift is for this one. I can tell who it's for based on the flaps. This one is for someone named Laura, another Laura. I'm going to write Laura's name on here. Get a little bit of twine. Butcher's twine. Like this is also what I do. I look at this and this is what was available, and I'm looking at this now and I feel like, oh, it's kind of a little too thick for this. So that's, if it's too thick, just split it. Split it apart and make it thinner. There. I like the look of that. Improvising. I also want to adjust this L. I'm looking at it now and I can do what I call fake Spencerian script, where I add a thicker swell, it's called, at the bottom. There, just there, that looks better. Okay. This goes through here like this. I thread this through here, like that. And I'm just gonna tie this. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tie it to here. I'm gonna put it in here. And then retie my bow. There. Vogel. That is wrapping up a present in what I believe is the nicest way possible. No tape, paper, ribbon. One more to do, and my task is done. Try it yourself.